Wyatt Hayes had always known Ridge Valley was a place that clung to its traditions like burrs on a denim jacket, unyielding, scratching at your skin until you bled. The town sat squat in the heart of West Texas, where the horizon stretched flat and unforgiving, dotted with oil rigs that pumped black gold like the life's blood of old grudges. Population: 2,347 souls. Give or take a few who slipped away in the night, chasing horizons that didn't judge. Wyatt's family ranch, the Hayes Spread, had been in those 2,347 for 5 generations, a sprawling 400 acres of scrub brush and cattle that whispered stories of harder times and harder men. At 22, Wyatt was the youngest of the Hayes boys, the one who'd inherited his grandpa Elias's quiet fire, the kind that smoldered under the surface, waiting for a spark. Elias had handed him the keys to the '67 Mustang that morning, right after the awkward family brunch where the cake had been chocolate, Wyatt's favorite, and the wrapping paper crinkled like thunder. "This here's more than metal and wheels, son," Elias had rasped, his voice gravel from too many Marlboros and not enough apologies. "It's the road. Take it wherever your heart pulls you. Don't let these fools clip your wings." Elias's eyes, faded blue like denim worn thin, had locked onto Wyatt's with a knowing glint, as if the old man had seen straight through the walls Wyatt built around his secrets. The Mustang was a beauty, cherry red, restored in the barn over summers Wyatt spent elbow-deep in grease, learning the language of engines from Elias's calloused hands. It wasn't just a car, it was escape, a V8 growl that drowned out the sermons from the First Baptist Church down the road, the ones that painted love like Wyatt felt it as some kind of sin. He'd dreamed of driving it to Austin, maybe Dallas, where the lights blurred into anonymity and a guy could hold hands without the whole town whispering. But that dream curdled fast. It started with a phone call. Wyatt's cousin, Tyler, the golden boy with the football scholarship and the preacher's daughter on his arm, had overheard Wyatt at the county fair the night before. Wyatt had been nursing a beer by the Ferris wheel, the air thick with cotton candy and regret, when his old high school buddy, Cole, had cornered him. Cole, broad-shouldered and easy with a grin, had always been the one Wyatt confided in during those long drives after practice. "Man, I've been seeing this guy in Lubbock," Cole had admitted, his voice low under the carnival din. "It's real. You ever think about it? About us?" Wyatt's heart had hammered like the Mustang's pistons. He'd nodded, the words tumbling out before he could cage them. "Yeah, more than think." A brush of hands, a shared look that lingered too long, and that was it. Freedom tasted like stolen kisses under neon lights. But Tyler had seen, snapped a blurry photo on his phone, and by morning, the family group chat exploded. "What the hell is this?" Uncle Harlan had typed, followed by Bible verses and eggplant emojis twisted into accusations. Wyatt's phone buzzed itself dead before he even cut the cake. Now, standing in the driveway as the sun dipped low, painting the barn in bloody hues, Wyatt faced the tribunal. His father, Mason Hayes, loomed like the oiled derrick out back, tall, unyielding, with a mustache that hid the perpetual scowl from years of chasing pipe dreams in the fields. "You think this is a joke, Wyatt? Parading around like some city fairy? Grandpa gave you that car thinking you were a man, not whatever this is." Mason's boot kicked at the dirt, sending pebbles skittering toward the Mustang's tires. Wyatt's throat tightened, a knot of fury and fear. "It's not a phase, Dad. It's me. And Grandpa knew. He gave it to me because he knew." But Elias was inside, hooked to an oxygen tank in the den, his lungs ravaged by the dust and the smokes, too frail to intervene. The old man had fought his own battles, whispers about a roommate back in the '70s, a fishing trip that lasted years, but he'd buried them deep, like the well on the North 40. His mother, Lila, stepped forward, her floral dress fluttering like a white flag. She'd always been the soft one, baking pies for church socials and mending Wyatt's jeans with stitches that held tighter than her hugs. "Baby, we can fix this. Prayer, counseling. There's a group in San Angelo." Her voice cracked, and Wyatt saw the fracture lines in her faith, the way her hands twisted the hem of her skirt. But beneath the plea was steel, the Hayes steel, forged in the belief that love bent to family, not the other way around. Uncle Harlan, Mason's brother, spat tobacco juice into the gravel. "Boys bringing shame on us all. That car's Elias's pride. Drove it in the rodeo circuit, won ribbons. Can't let it go to waste on unnatural roads." Harlan's eyes, small and piggish, flicked to the Mustang with possessive hunger. He'd been eyeing it for months, ever since his own truck gave out. Wyatt lunged for the keys, but Tyler blocked him, the cousin's face a mask of righteous pity. "Cuz, think about Grandpa. This'll kill him." The words landed like a sucker punch, and Wyatt faltered, the fight draining out like oil from a cracked pan. By dusk, the Mustang was gone, towed to Harlan's garage under the cover of family decree. Wyatt watched from the porch as the taillights faded down County Road 12, the dust cloud a shroud over his stolen birthday. Inside, Elias caught his eye through the screen door, a weak thumbs up, the only rebellion left in those gnarled fingers. Wyatt sank onto the steps, the night air cooling the tears he wouldn't let fall. Ridge Valley slept easy that night, but Wyatt lay awake, the silence screaming louder than any engine roar. The days blurred into a haze of chores and avoidance. Wyatt threw himself into the barn, mending fences that felt too much like the ones around his heart. His father barked orders, his mother left plates of food outside his door, and Tyler slunk around with apologies that rang hollow. Cole texted once, "You okay? Miss you," but Wyatt deleted it, the fear of more leaks too raw. He drove the old ranch truck instead, its rattle a poor substitute for the Mustang Symphony, each mile a reminder of what they'd stripped away. Elias rallied enough for a talk one evening, the den thick with the scent of menthol and regret. "They took it, huh?" the old man wheezed, propped on pillows like a king dethroned. Wyatt nodded, perched on the edge of the bed, tracing the quilt his grandma had sewn before cancer claimed her. "World's changing, Wyatt. Slower than molasses here, but it is. I knew boys like you back in Nam. Hit it good, but it burned bright. Don't let him dim yours." Wyatt's voice broke. "What if I can't stay, Grandpa? What if I run?" Elias's laugh was a cough-racked rumble. "Then run, son. But take the road with you in your soul. And remember, blood don't mean loyalty. Legacy does." Those words echoed as Wyatt slipped out to the fairgrounds that weekend, the carnival lights a siren call. He needed noise, anything to drown the ache. That's when he saw Finn, leaning against a game booth, tossing rings with lazy precision, his laugh cutting through the crowd like sunlight through storm clouds. Finn Whitaker, 24, transplanted from Seattle via a botched art school stint, with ink-sleeved arms and hair the color of wet sand, eyes green as the Gulf after rain. He was sketching caricatures for chump change, his booth a riot of colors that Ridge Valley's beige couldn't touch. Their eyes met over a poorly aimed ring, and Finn grinned, all mischief and warmth. "Missed by a mile, cowboy. Want a do-over?" "On the house." Wyatt hesitated, the pole magnetic, dangerous. But in that moment, with the Ferris wheel creaking overhead, he stepped forward. "Yeah, let's see if you can make me look less like a fool." They talked until the lights dimmed, about Seattle's rain-slick streets versus Texas dust devils, about art that bled emotion and engines that roared it. Finn's hand brushed Wyatt's when he handed over the sketch, a cartoon Wyatt behind the wheel of a Mustang, wind in his hair, free. "Looks like you belong on the open road," Finn said softly, his gaze lingering. Wyatt's pulse thrummed, a spark in the dark. For the first time since the theft, Wyatt felt seen, not as the hazed disappointment, but as himself. As they parted under the stars, Finn slipped him a number scrawled on a napkin. "Call if you need a co-pilot. Or just someone who gets it." Wyatt pocketed it like contraband, the night's chill no match for the heat blooming in his chest. Back at the ranch, the air was thicker, laced with unspoken ultimatums. Mason cornered him at breakfast the next morning, the table laden with biscuits and unspoken grievances. "Heard you at the fair, son. With that outsider. You trying to rub our noses in it." Wyatt's fork clattered. "I'm living, Dad. Isn't that enough?" But Mason's face hardened. "Living like that, it'll destroy you. And us." The rift widened, a chasm Wyatt navigated with stolen glances at his phone. He texted Finn that afternoon, "Coffee in town? Need to get off this rock." And by noon, they were at the diner on Main, the one with the jukebox crooning Patsy Cline. Finn listened as Wyatt spilled it all. The car, the family, the weight of a town that measured manhood in straight lines. "They think they can steal your joy and call it love," Finn said, his foot nudging Wyatt's under the table, a quiet anchor. "But joy's not theirs to take." In that booth, with the scent of fry grease and possibility, Wyatt leaned in, their lips meeting soft and tentative, a kiss that tasted like rebellion and rain. It was brief, electric, but it cracked something open in him, a door to a life unscripted. As they drove back in Finn's beat-up Jeep, windows down, wind whipping secrets away, Wyatt dared to dream again. The Mustang was gone, but maybe the road wasn't. Yet Ridge Valley had claws. Whispers followed Wyatt home. Old ladies at the feed store clucking tongues, Tyler's buddies side-eyeing him at the gas station. Harlan cornered him by the silos that evening, reeking of whiskey. Heard you're sweet on that painter fella. Keep it up, and you'll lose more than a car. Family's all you got. The threat hung heavy, but Wyatt met his uncle's glare. Maybe family's what I need to lose. That night, sleep evaded him, the quilt twisting like his thoughts. Elias's words replayed, legacy over blood. Wyatt rose before dawn, slipping into the den to find the old man awake, staring at faded photos on the mantel. Elias young and grinning beside a man named Jack. Arms slung casual, eyes full of unspoken stories. Who was he, Grandpa? Wyatt whispered. Elias's smile was wistful. The road I never fully took. Don't make my mistakes, son. As the first light crept in, Wyatt vowed he wouldn't. But the storm was gathering, family ties fraying like old rope, and Finn's kiss a beacon in the gathering dark. Little did he know, the real reckoning was just revving its engine. The coffee at Millie's diner had gone cold by the time Wyatt finished unraveling the thread of his life, but Finn's gaze stayed warm, unwavering, like the steady hum of a well-tuned V8. They lingered in the booth until the lunch rush pushed them out, the bell above the door jingling like a warning as they stepped into the midday glare of Main Street. Ridge Valley's pulse was slow here. Pickups idling at the curb, folks in Stetsons nodding hellos that carried undercurrents of scrutiny. Wyatt felt it now, the invisible brand. The Hayes boy gone queer, parading his shame with an out-of-towner who dressed like he'd stepped off a Portland billboard. Walk with me, Finn asked, slinging his sketchpad under one arm, the other brushing Wyatt's elbow in a touch that sent sparks skittering up his spine. They ambled toward the old railroad tracks, where the town faded into wild mustard fields, the air sharp with creosote and the faint tang of distant rain. Finn talked easy, about growing up in Seattle's fog-shrouded alleys, where his dads had run a coffee shop stacked with queer-lit and rainbow flags that flapped like defiant sails. They fought for every inch, he said, kicking a loose rail spike. Stonewalled at banks, glared at in parks. But they built something real. Made me believe love's not a battlefield, it's a canvas. Wyatt envied that unapologetic world, so far from Texas's baked earth conservatism. Here, it's like admitting you're gay is declaring war on your own kin, he muttered, scuffing his boots along the ties. They took the car like it was evidence, like I tainted it just by breathing. The words hung, heavy as the humidity building on the horizon. Finn stopped, turning to face him, green eyes fierce with a tenderness that disarmed. Then let's repaint it. You, me, a road trip when you get that Mustang back. No kin, no judgments, just us and the miles. He cupped Wyatt's jaw, thumb tracing the stubble there, and pulled him into a kiss that deepened slow, unhurried, tasting of diner pie and promise. Wyatt melted into it, hands fisting Finn's shirt, the world narrowing to the press of bodies and the distant train whistle mourning what might have been. They broke apart breathless, foreheads touching, and Wyatt laughed, a rusty sound, and used for weeks. Your trouble, Whitaker. Finn grinned. The best kind. Back at the ranch that evening, the idol shattered. Lila was waiting on the porch, her face a map of worry lines etched deeper by afternoon bridge club gossip. Folks are talking, Wyatt. About you and that boy. Harlan says it's a scandal waiting to explode. She wrung her hands, the gold cross at her throat glinting like a shackle. Wyatt's temper flared, hot and immediate. Let him talk, Mom. It's my life, not their soap opera. Her eyes welled. But it's our name. Your father's sinking everything into expanding the herd. Loans from the bank, Harlan co-signing. One whiff of this, and she trailed off, the implication clear. The Hayes legacy, teetering on the edge of ruin, couldn't afford a gay son as its figurehead. Wyatt stormed inside, the screen door slamming like a period on their fragile piece. In the kitchen, Mason nursed a beer, the TV droning stock reports. Heard the chatter. He grunted without looking up. You aiming to tank us all? Wyatt gripped the counter, knuckles whitening. Or maybe I'm just trying to breathe. Ever think of that? Mason's chair scraped back, his bulk filling the doorway. Breathing's free. This ain't about air, it's about roots. You pull him up, we all topple. The standoff stretched, father and son mirrors of stubborn Hayes pride, until Elias's cough rattled from the den like a referee's whistle. They deflated in unison, the fight postponed to simmer another day. Wyatt retreated to his room, the walls closing in with posters of dusty drag strips and faded Aerosmith tickets. He scrolled Finn's texts, silly sketches of Mustangs with rainbow exhaust, memes about queer icons who'd flipped off the world. One caught him, a quote from James Baldwin. Love takes off the masks that we fear we cannot live without and know we cannot live within. Wyatt's chest ached with it, a longing sharp as barbed wire. He hit call before doubt could intervene. Finn picked up on the second ring, voice like honey over static. Hey, road warrior. Miss me already? They talked for hours, Wyatt confessing the barn restorations with Elias, the way his grandpa's stories of Jack hinted at ghosts in the family closet. Finn sharing sketches from his pad, describing a painting of two men dancing under a blood moon. You and me, maybe, if you'll let it be. The call ended with Wyatt asleep to the rhythm of Finn's breathing, a lifeline in the dark. Dawn brought routine's cruel mercy, feeding the cattle, mending a busted irrigator under the relentless sun. Tyler showed up mid-morning, unannounced, his truck kicking gravel as he parked by the barn. The cousin looked wrecked, bags under his eyes, the preacher's daughter nowhere in sight. Can we talk? Tyler asked, voice stripped bare. They leaned against the corral fence, the horses nickering soft queries. I didn't mean for the photo to go viral in the family, Tyler admitted, rubbing his neck. I was pissed, jealous maybe. You always had Grandpa's ear, that easy way with him. And me? I'm just the jock chasing approval. Wyatt studied him, seeing the boy they'd been, fishing holes and fort building, before life drew battle lines. It hurts, Ty? Like they erased me overnight. Tyler nodded, throat working. Harlan's pushing Dad to sell off parcels. Says the ranch needs strong hands, not scandals. But, I miss you, man. Us against the world. A tentative fist bump, the old code, and for a flicker, Wyatt glimpsed redemption. But as Tyler drove off, the doubt crept back. Was it pity or pivot? That afternoon, Elias called him to the den, the old man frielier, skin papery as onion skin. Wrote something for you, he wheezed, pressing a sealed envelope into Wyatt's palm. Lawyers got the rest. Don't open till after. Wyatt's gut twisted. After what? But Elias waved it off. Go see your boy. Life's too short for fences. Emboldened, Wyatt texted Finn. Ranch hands full tonight. Meet at the tracks. Dusk found them there, blankets spread on the ballast, a thermos of spiked lemonade between them. Finn arrived with a portable speaker, soft indie folk strumming tales of lost boys finding home. They lay side by side, fingers laced, staring at stars that pierced the velvet sky like accusations and absolution. Tell me about Jack, Finn murmured, head on Wyatt's shoulder. Wyatt hesitated, then spilled. The photo, the unspoken ache in Elias's voice. Think Grandpa loved him. Really loved. But hid it, like I was starting to. Finn turned, propping on an elbow, his face illuminated by fireflies. Then honor that. Love loud, Wyatt. For both of them. Their kiss ignited slow, building to a blaze. Hands exploring collarbones and hips, breaths mingling in the humid night. It was tentative at first, Wyatt's fears a shadow, but Finn's patience coaxed him open, layer by layer. They didn't go all the way, not yet. The tracks too exposed, the town too close. But in that tangle of limbs and whispers, Wyatt felt whole, desired, alive. Morning brought backlash. A neighbor's wife, Mrs. Hargrove from the church auxiliary, cornered Lila at the co-op. Saw your Wyatt with that long-haired deviant by the rails. Pray for him, dear, before he drags the whole county to hell. Lila came home white-knuckled on the wheel, confronting Wyatt in the mudroom. Is it true? Out there like animals. Her voice quavered, equal parts horror and heartbreak. Wyatt met her eyes, steel in his spine. It's love, Mom. Real as yours and Dad's. She recoiled as if slapped, fleeing to her room with a sob that echoed through the house. Mason's roar followed. You're tearing her apart, boy. Get out if you can't play straight. The ultimatum landed like a tire iron to the gut. Wyatt packed a duffel that night. Jeans, tees, the envelope from Elias tucked safe. He slipped out to the barn, where the Mustang's empty bay mocked him, and texted Finn. Need you. Now. By midnight, they were in Finn's Jeep, headlights cutting the dark toward the highway, Ridge Valley shrinking in the mirror. But freedom's taste soured quick. Harlan's call came at dawn, as they holed up in a no-tell motel outside Abilene. Elias took a turn. Get back here. Wyatt's blood ran cold. The drive back was a blur of regret and recriminations. Had he run too soon? Finn gripped the wheel, jaw set. Family's pulling you back. But remember, chains only hold if you let em. The ranch loomed like a judgment, lights blazing against the pre-dawn gloom. Elias lay in the hospital wing they'd jury-rigged in the guest house, monitors beeping a dirge. Lila hovered, red-eyed, Mason pacing like a caged bull. About time, Mason growled. Wyatt ignored him, kneeling by the bed, Elias's hand frail in his. Road. Called, huh? Elias murmured, eyes cracking open. Wyatt nodded, throat tight. Yeah, but I'm here. The old man's grip tightened fractionally. Good. Fight. Smart. Then, to the room. All of you. Listen close. Will's set. No changes. His lids fluttered shut, the effort spent. Wyatt stayed through the vigil, Finn waiting in the truck like a sentinel. As dawn broke, painting the plains gold, Wyatt emerged, the envelope burning in his pocket. The family closed ranks, Harlan's glare promising war. But in Finn's arms, by the corral under rising sun, Wyatt whispered, whatever comes, I'm not hiding anymore. The kiss they shared then was fierce, a vow sealed in salt and sunrise. Yet the shadows lengthened. Tyler pulled Wyatt aside by the windmill, voice urgent. Harlan's scheming. Thinks if he pressures Dad, they can contest the will, cut you out, claim you're unfit. Wyatt's fists clenched. Betrayal's sting was fresh, familial. Then let him try? I've got more than blood on my side. As the day wore on, Elias rallied briefly, demanding the family gather. In the den, with the Mustang's photo propped on the mantel like a talisman, he rasped his final lecture. Hayes' blood's thick, but pride's thicker. Love who you love, boys, or lose what's worth keeping. His gaze lingered on Wyatt, a benediction. Then, as evening fell, the monitors wailed, and Elias Hayes slipped away, leaving a void filled with echoes and an envelope that promised thunder. The funeral was a spectacle, Ridge Valley turning out in black and boots, the Baptist choir singing hymns that rang hollow to Wyatt's ears. He stood graveside in his best button-down, Finn a quiet shadow at his elbow, the town stares like nettles. Harlan delivered the eulogy, voice booming with selective memory. Elias was a pillar, family man, rancher true. No deviations from the path. Wyatt bit his tongue bloody, the envelope heavy in his jacket. After, at the repast in the barn, tensions simmered. Mason pulled Wyatt into the tack room, eyes bloodshot. Your friend. He needs to go. This day's for family. Wyatt's laugh was bitter. Define family, Dad. 'Cause right now, it feels like strangers in my house. Mason's hand twitched toward a slap, but Lila's gasp halted it. Enough, she pleaded. For Elias. Finn slipped away gracefully, but not before a stolen moment in the hayloft, his arms a harbor. You're stronger than they know, he murmured, kiss lingering. Wyatt clung, the grief a tidal wave. Stay close. I need you. The reading was set for the next week, at Old Man Hargrove's law office downtown, neutral ground, or so they thought. Wyatt arrived early, Finn in tow despite the glares, the envelope now joined by Elias's Bible, dog-eared at passages on mercy. Harlan and Tyler flanked Mason, Lila a wilted flower between. The lawyer, a bespectacled relic named Clarence, cleared his throat as they settled around the oak table. Elias was clear. Clarence began, unfolding papers crisp as new bills. The ranch, in full, to Mason and Harlan equally, but with conditions. Murmurs rippled. Wyatt sat stone still, heart pounding. Then the hammer fell. The Mustang and a trust fund of $250,000, proceeds from oil leases, to Wyatt Hayes, outright and irrevocable. For the boy who drives his own road, unashamed. Gasps echoed. Harlan lunged forward. What? That car's mine by rights. Clarence held up a hand. There's more. A letter. He slid it across, Elias's scrawl, shaky but sure. To my kin, I loved Jack. Deep as the marrow. Hid it for you, for the ranch. But Wyatt won't hide. Support him, or lose the legacy. The land ties to his forgiveness. Sign over your shares if he walks away clean. Blood's choice now. The room erupted. Mason's face purpled. This is blackmail. Lila wept silently. Tyler stared at Wyatt, awe and guilt mingling. Harlan stormed out, cursing. Wyatt rose, voice steady. Grandpa saw us all, gave us a mirror. He met each gaze, father's fury, mother's sorrow, cousin's regret, then walked out, Finn at his side, the keys to the Mustang waiting in the glove box like resurrection. But regret's road twisted. Harlan didn't yield. He lawyered up, claiming undue influence, painting Elias as senile, Wyatt as manipulator. The town buzzed, lines drawn, old guard versus the deviant heir. Wyatt and Finn holed up at the motel, plotting counters, their nights a tangle of solace and strategy, bodies mapping futures, whispers weaving dreams. One storm-lashed evening, as thunder rolled like judgment, Tyler appeared at their door, soaked and contrite. Harlan's wrong. I love a guy too. Hit it since college. Grandpa knew, left me a note in my share. Tears mixed with rain. Wyatt pulled him in, the embrace a bridge over chasms. Brothers in secret, now allies in light. The courtroom in San Angelo was a pressure cooker 2 months later, air thick with sweat and suspicion. Harlan's suit droned on. Elias was coerced, his mind addled. But Clarence countered with medicals, witnesses. Even Mrs. Hargrove, shamed into truth by her own buried letters from Jack. Wyatt testified last, voice cracking only once. He gave me the car because he saw me, the real me, not the Hayes mold. That's legacy. Finn squeezed his hand under the table, unseen anchor. The judge ruled swift. While upheld, Harlan's claims dismissed, cost him. The gavel fell like thunderclap, and outside, under relentless sun, Mason approached, humbled, hat in hand. Son, we were wrong. Come home. Wyatt glanced at Finn, the road calling. Home's where the heart drives now. But he hugged his father, the embrace tentative, a seed. Lila baked pies that night. Tyler cracked beers, and for one fragile evening, the ranch echoed with tentative laughter. Harlan slunk in last, mumbling apology over whiskey. His empire crumbled to humility. Months on, Wyatt reclaimed the Mustang, Finn beside him as they cruised Highway 10, windows down, wind carrying ghosts away. The trust funded a garage in town, Hayes Whitaker Repairs, a haven for outcasts and engines. Family mended slow, dinners with questions, not accusations. Mason even hung a rainbow sticker on his truck, half joke, half heart. One golden afternoon, parked by the tracks where it began, Wyatt turned to Finn, ring box in hand. Simple silver, engraved our road. Marry me? Let's make this forever. Finn's yes was a kiss that sealed it, the horizon theirs. In Ridge Valley, regrets bloomed like bluebonnets after rain. Harlan volunteering at the center Wyatt started for queer youth, Lila preaching quiet acceptance at church. Elias's will wasn't vengeance, it was grace, forcing mirrors on souls who'd forgotten their shine. Wyatt drove on, unashamed, the Mustang's roar a hymn to second chances. Love, he'd learned, wasn't stolen, it was reclaimed, mile by mile, heart by beating heart.